Vision Communications Management for advertisements. Vision Communications Incorporated is not responsible for the validity or accuracy of information presented on this program. Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Shealy-Sorin. Get the health answers you need from the creator of holistic medicine and the 2020 Holistic Doctor of the Year. To be a part of the show, call 417-447-1777. Wellness Wednesday. Now, here are your hosts, Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Shealy-Sorin.
Good afternoon. We're going to have a great talk today about keeping your immune system optimal. Perfect thing to do. And I just want to mention at the beginning, during this entire stupidemic, I have been exposed to all kinds of people, and I get an IV vitamin C of 50 grams at least every other week. And that seemed to have kept me healthy despite being exposed to people who had the bug. Mm-hmm. And if I had the bug, I would take 75 grams or 100 grams every week.
Exactly. And I'll talk about my experience as well as we move on.
But in addition, you need supplements all year in today's polluted world. And of course, here in Springfield, the place where I shop and you should too, Spring Valley Natural Foods. I particularly like Spring Valley of all the shops of all kinds in town because of service. I walk in, they've got 10,000 or more items in there. And all I have to do is walk in, they ask what I want, and they find it for me. They, of course, carry all of our goodies, the Shealy-Sorin products of magnesium lotion, our essentials multivitamin, our youth formula, our Bliss Oils, but thousands of other items. Spring Valley, the place where I shop, and you should too. And, of course, Nature Blessed, tart cherry juice concentrate, available at only real grocery stores. If they don't have it in the produce department, they are a fake grocery store. Now, the average American gets only 2.2 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. They need 8 to 10. By adding just 2 tablespoons of Nature Blessed tart cherry juice concentrate, you can add 3.75 servings of fruits and vegetables. I take 2 of those a day, among all the other things. It lowers your blood pressure, it lowers your cholesterol, and it tastes especially good. Nature Blessed tart cherry juice concentrate. So, off to IV, vitamin C, and ozone.
But first, let's count back to the essential things about the immune system. Everyone has heard or has been, basically pressured to be to hear about all sorts of viruses. Now, I'm not gonna say certain words here on this broadcast for a specific reason because, let's just put it this way: in our lack of freedom of expression life these days, there's a pretty good chance that one can get shut down for their views, expressing their views. And again, we're not here to disagree with anybody, but I'm just going to say that we're going to express our perspective as to what makes for immune system and how to work with that. And I know a lot of folks have a lot of questions about specifics, and we may or may not be able to answer that, but we'll do our very best. But let's get started with the basics and essential. Immune system is an innate capacity given to humans since our birthright. It's in our DNA. It's in our genetics. We all have an immune system, and when it works well, it works well. It protects against external pathogens, viruses, bacteria, fungus, all sorts of toxins. And cancer. But that was the second part I was going to mention. And internally, it regulates the internal environment, such as controlling internal body cells, such as controlling cancer growth or abnormal issues that are working in the body, but also endocrine issues and many, many, many others. And the foundation, the very basic of the foundation for a good functioning immune system, which is essential to your life and is a part of the endocrine system, neuroendocrine system, but also every part of life and every organ system is absolutely involved, from the gut to the brain to the heart, skin, you name it. Autoimmune diseases have increased hugely in the last several decades, and a lot of it has to do with a number of factors, such as toxicity in our everyday world, as well as some of the components in some of the vaccines that we have gotten to know. For example, mercury and aluminum. And now there's a lot of things hop up in the environment. And I'm gonna say,
don't forget glyphosate, the worst poison in the history of the world.
That's right. Absolutely. But the bottom line is there's lots of poisons out there, and we may be able to talk about some and not the others necessarily, again, as a just to be able to continue talking, but just to realize the immune system is the key and the central piece of this, and it starts with a foundation. And the foundation is, we'll do this really briefly because there's a lot to cover on the IV intravenous therapy and what it is, how it works for those who are interested. But without the good foundation of a good basic general health, and let's go through it rather briefly, but not to skip it. Lifestyle, essential. And if you have it, good lifestyle, fantastic. If you don't have a good lifestyle, well, guess what? You need it. You don't have the luxury not to have it. And there are 5 basic components to lifestyle. Now we can break it down to more categories. But you've got to have, well, actually, do you want to mention?
To me, interestingly, at the top of the list is a body mass index that is normal, which is 18 to 24. 72 or more percent of Americans are overweight, and at least 36% are plain fat. That means a body mass index of 30 or more. The number one cause of all illness today and of early death is obesity.
And by the way, I just want to, mention a little bit of what this number means. Over 2/3 of Americans are either obese or overweight. And if you are in that category, again, we're not saying bad things, or we're not here to make you feel bad. But if you are overweight or in the obese category, time has come for you to get that under control in the best way possible, or to get, I'm jumping ahead, but to get a proper evaluation by someone who knows what to do with that kind of a situation.
That means a holistic physician, because the average
approach.
physician doesn't know. Actually, I don't know what percentage of physicians, but I bet it's at least 50% are overweight.
At least, or more than the average population, I would say, because of our sedentary lifestyle and stress. Yeah. But we'll continue. Exercise. If you're not exercising, again, this is a really brief run through, but very important, cannot be understated or overstated, I should say.
If you do not get 30 minutes of physical exercise, a minimum of 5 days a week, you have the same risk of someone who smokes 1 or 2 packs of cigarettes a day.
Perfect.
Earlier death. Exactly. And lots of disease.
Almost every disease as well. Sleep. If you're not sleeping well, or if you're not getting a good quality sleep, or you using medication to help you sleep, which takes away stage 3 or deep, refreshing type of a sleep, you are missing regeneration and basically resetting of your brain and the nervous system, and which is also connected to everything else, all the other systems.
And it has to be 7 or 8 hours every day of the year.
As much as possible. Another thing that to talk about is nutrition. Nutrition is actually atrocious in our society, isn't it? The nutritional factors are basically, well, that's what contributes to obesity, but also inflammation, metabolic diseases, and lots of other things. And it's one of the simplest things. What do we put in our mouth? Simple as that.
And the problem is 80% of the food available in this country is now junk.
Yes.
The food industry is as evil as the tobacco industry and the drug industry combined. Once upon a time, you only got food out of a grocery store. Now, 80% of the food sold in a grocery store is pure junk. And, of course, in my opinion, 100% of those sold at so-called fast food restaurants. Remember my favorite story. I went to McDonald's in 1962. I took one bite, I spit it out, and I've never been back.
Amen. So now, just to get back in just a general summary of what is ideal and what is best and what is to thrive for, because we're not here just to talk about negatives. We're here to provide solutions and answers and suggestions, and to help improve your life, because that's what it's all about. Your life, your experience, your journey. And we only get to enjoy things, a certain number of years, so might as well make the best of it. So what do you do? In general, and this is going to be real fast, and again, we'll come back to this on another show when we have time or questions, but make sure, and again, nutrition, if you're general circumstances, 80% or so veggies, 70 to 80%, and then some good quality protein, some fruit. Stay away from starchy carbs, breads, things of that nature, poison, pure poison with glyphosate and otherwise. Water, plenty of water, no soda, no pop, alcohol.
And don't forget, if you live in Springfield,
fluoride.
Get yourself at least a Berkey filter and do not drink the poison fluoride. It lowers your IQ and destroys your fertility. But other than that, Mrs. Lincoln.
And the immune system. It affects
everything. It's horrible to the immune system.
So, but I wish we had 10 hours to talk about it because there's so much to cover. But again, we talked about sleep. We talked about body mass index. If you're not there, then at least start going in the best way you know. Or if you're not sure how to proceed, get some help, including from a holistic physician. But stress is another big huge category. And I'm just going to mention briefly because, again, we want to focus on the information about the IVs and how that works for the enhancement, which is critical for many people. But without stress management, stress in 1930s and 40s, a really short story, but even going back, Dr. Shealy, I know you've got a wonderful stories for beginning of the century and earlier about physicians and proof and evidence, just very clearly demonstrating you've got to be able to control stress in order to live. Uncontrolled stress equals 95+% of all the terrible bad things that happen physically, mentally, emotionally, and that's the underlying reason behind it all. If you're not controlling stress well, or if you're being stressed out by the society that we live in, more so as we go on, you got to have a good stress management technique. You have to. And one of the best that we know is autogenic training and biogenics, which is a system designed by my medical partner, Dr. Norm Shealy, back in the 70s for self-regulation, and it's wonderful. Without self-regulation, without controlling stress, I don't care what you do otherwise, you will not normalize your body systems. You will not.
It is absolutely critical. Everyone should do autogenic training twice a day for the rest of their lives.
And if you're not sure what we're talking about, please go to biogenicscourse.com, which is we put it in the bite-sized capacity to take this in, understand the material, but also 68 various exercises on stress management and biofeedback and otherwise. Lots of wonderful tools. Now, I'm also very briefly, going to cover a certain topic of if you're not taking supplements or oral. Thank you. Or basically oral support for the nutrition, because nutrition is, even with the best of the habits possible, you still don't. The food supply has been depleted and it's been poisoned.
And at the top of that list of supplements is vitamin D3. And if you weigh 140 pounds or more, you need 50,000 units once a week. Under that, once every 10 days, the first 10th to 20th of every month. You need Dr. Sorin, the Shealy-Sorin Youth Formula 4 a day, and you need the Shealy-Sorin Echo Green Essentials at least 2 a day. And if you weigh over 150 pounds, you're ideal to take that 4 a day as well.
Yes. Also, anytime there is you take vitamin C, you've got to have a good B complex, which is essential for energy to begin with, which is could be found in an equivalent or the Shealy-Sorin youth essentials, which will give you a minimum of 25 25 grams, grams, not milligrams.
25 milligrams of B complex.
I'm thinking of IV because IV is 25 plus. So you cannot get, by the way, you cannot take adequate or large amount of vitamin C without having gastrointestinal side effects. Some people have tolerated up to 10 grams. Liposomal may be okay, but a good supplement will provide you that. And there's a few others that I want to mention. Magnesium topical, not by mouth.
Remember, 80% of Americans are deficient in magnesium because our soil is deficient. And you must take it as a lotion. It is a waste of money and time to take it by mouth.
And you actually demonstrated, and there's research and evidence that shows that it's connected to DHEA. There's a patent on that has come out.
It is one of the greatest stress reducers. It raises your DHEA, the anti-stress hormone, a whopping 50 to 60%.
And anybody with heart troubles, arrhythmias, or any kind of nervous disorders, you've got to have that.
Interesting, I had an email just this morning from a man with AFib who brought it under control with his magnesium lotion.
Wonderful. So there is that, and then there's beta-1,3-glucan, which is present in the to some degree.
In the youth, yep.
In the youth formula, but it is not, if you want to truly optimize your immune system, 500 milligrams of that a day, up to 1,000, as a matter of fact, is acceptable. And astaxanthin, we better spell this one out.
Astaxanthin.
A-S-T.
A-X-A-N-T-H-I-N. A minimum of 10 milligrams
yes.
a day. And I take 30 milligrams every day.
Wonderful antioxidant, but it also does something for the immune system. Now, what do you do beyond the fact that you're taking the supplements, you're taking the best care of yourself as possible, you're reducing stress? If you get sick or you want to prevent getting sick, and let me talk about my story. I'm an emergency room physician. I'm also family medicine, and I've done all sorts of medical fields. My priority, my interest is in wellness, but I still put in time in the ER, and I've worked ever since the fake-demic season has started. I've been working consistently in the hospital, seeing lots of people with all sorts of viral and other illnesses. Again, just please understand, I'm going to stop at the word viral because, again, we want to continue the broadcast moving forward. And I see certain patterns, and those patterns we also can see in our wellness practice, slightly from a different angle. And it is essential that if a person is about to get sick or you're having a hard time recovering from an illness, to have an extra boost to the immune system. And there's two modalities that we utilize as an immune booster, something to strongly support the immune system when you need extra support or if you want to prevent issues. And that is vitamin C or Myers cocktails. And by the way, you never just have vitamin C by itself. It's got to be but it's got to be a certain ratio of B complex, magnesium, calcium, and vitamin C and other elements. Glutathione, exactly. So that the body is optimized and it's taken in properly. If it's not done properly, or if a person doesn't know what they're doing, or they're not using strong enough concentration of vitamin C, it's not as useful. But and again, everything helps.
We have been doing intravenous vitamin C both to treat viral illnesses and cancer since the 1970s.
Exactly.
And I have used it as preventive numerous times. If you really feel one coming on, if you can have it immediately, that is the time to get you intravenous vitamin C.
Now, the other thing
ozone.
And so that's the other combination, medical ozone. We may have heard of ozone, and I'll cover a few things about ozone in terms of detail and information, and how this all works, how it works with combination vitamin C. But it's one of the most amazing, wonderful combinations. Personal story, like as I mentioned, I've been an emergency room doctor. I've been working continuously emergency room ever since this season began, but even before that, and I generally have not gotten sick, even though I've been exposed to all sorts of people. Now, I did get sick one time, and I'll talk about that. It was one of the most unpleasant illnesses that I've ever experienced, and I did have to take some other medicines on top of that. But when I did personally, and the benefit of being in my own practice is that I get to have IV therapy when it's appropriate personally, so I can continue taking care of others. And with intravenous ozone and vitamin C, I was able to basically, stay away from a pretty terrible illness and get myself back into...
And not go to the hospital.
And not go to the hospital. And I would have ended up in the hospital because I was exposed to some really terrible stuff. Now, since then, my immunity has been absolutely positive, fantastic. And as a matter of fact, I can talk about myself. I've had antibodies that I'm holding strong for all sorts of coronaviruses and stuff, things of that nature. Again, I'm avoiding certain keywords here for a reason, but the bottom line is the immunity works. And I have not gotten sick ever since, and I'm going to continue taking care of people who need my help and who need attention. And the only way I can do so is by maintaining and taking care of myself and my own immune system. And that's why I get vitamin C and ozone weekly myself, and especially on the weeks that I go to the emergency room on the weekend. It's a must. That's what keeps me in a really good place, and I'm not worried about anything. I'm not concerned, period, because I got my own immune system taking care of me, and I'm taking care of it.
And you can take care of yours too. So if you feel as if you are extra stressed, then you ought to get a prophylactic intravenous vitamin C and ozone.
And that's what I do before I head out there or before I go to the emergency room. Without fail, I will get the vitamin C and I will get an ozone. And it's good, of course, you have to arrange it properly and you have to have the right dose. But I feel so good about this combination. Now, let me talk about a few things. Vitamin C, what does it do? Now, I'm going to run briefly through some of the benefits, but there's so much more to it, and we don't have enough time nearly to cover the hundreds upon hundreds of articles that are available on, in the right sources. So vitamin C, I'm going to read this out. It's the strongest boost to the immune system, and it allows a person to get a higher doses, 25 to 100 grams of vitamin C, which you cannot get by mouth, and it goes straight into the bloodstream, and it's wonderful. It's an essential micronutrient, many functions. It's an antioxidant. It's a cofactor for biosynthetic and genetic regulatory enzymes. Contributes to immune defense via various innate and adaptive immune systems, supports epithelial barrier function against pathogens, promotes oxidant scavenging capacity of the skin, accumulates in phagocytic cells such as neutrophils and enhances all sorts of immune functions, chemotaxis, phagocytosis, reactive oxygen species, microbial killing, microbes of all sorts. Needed for apoptosis or the death of the right cells and clearance of the spent neutrophils, and also decreasing necrosis and inflammation. Role in the lymphocytes is also present, regulatory factors. It is the deficiency has been clearly demonstrated to all sorts of immunity, as well as vitamin D deficiency, by the way. I'm just jumping on that. And the supplementation with C appears to prevent and treat respiratory and systemic infections. And the prophylactic is a wonderful way to go. Now, let me also mention about ozone. And there's a couple of things that I'll, again, if we have time, but ozone is a wonderful modality that goes together with that. And this is a brochure. This is what we give to our customers, just to outline some of the basic essentials. It is safe, millions of treatments, safer than aspirin, effective. We hear the word safe and effective all the time. A lot of it is not true. I'm not going to say anything more about that, but this has been proven. We used it on ourselves, on thousands of clients, literally. And there's ultraviolet and ozone, which really does a number of things: allergy, immune, bacterial, cancer, fatigue, circulatory, cardiovascular, infectious, inflammation, joint pain, Lyme disease, Epstein-Barr virus, chronic fatigue. The list goes on and on and on.
And even smells good.
And we love the smell. And together with ultraviolet, and again, you have to be careful and mindful. Again, there's a standard treatment, there's high-end treatment. It's good stuff. But if you're not here in Springfield, then, well, of course, if you're here, come and see us, Shealy-Sorin Wellness Institute. But if you're somewhere else, find out and ask what kind of ozone is available. And if you're interested in optimizing your immune system, just do it.
Actually, I want to comment that intravenous ozone is infinitely better than hyperbaric oxygen.
I agree fully. And by the way, just a few quick announcements. There's a code for 10% off the entire website in light of the situation and the fact we need to boost the immune system. And it's summer 2021. Summer 21 on realholisticdoc.com. And also there's a code, and I'll mention this again, for the intravenous therapy, 10% off on packages and individual treatments, and that would be KICK 92.3 IV. And then we'll go to the break shortly after.
Culinarily challenged.
Yeah, you're going to check the computer for us?
Yes, I do, actually. You had a question of what is a good exercise if you have osteoarthritis in your knees?
The best one in the world is rowing your arms in concentric circles like this, just sitting even. It's much better than walking for your heart. Music conductors live longer than any other profession.
Another exercise that is also highly beneficial is if a person has a hard time with either vibration, if it's that bad, or being able to walk treadmill or otherwise running,
A vibrate plate.
vibrate plate, and second option is a exercise bike,
Yes.
bicycle or elliptical. It takes the pressure off the knees in the right setting, and it's wonderful. It keeps you moving. Yep. Thank you. Any other questions there?
No, just comments.
Any comments that should be mentioned?
Cherie said that she stopped flour and sugar.
Good.
She is no longer obese.
Good on her. Yay, you.
Let's rephrase that. Stopped flour and sugar and no longer obese. God bless you. You did amazing thing for your immune system and for your health and wellness, and God bless. Yes, we have that power. Yeah. All right.
Hellos from different places.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I just want to say this one more time for everyone out there, if you're watching or listening, and we'll say it again if we have a chance. So there is, because of this season, and people are getting sick. By the way, interestingly enough, I haven't had a single positive flu ever since this whole entire situation has started. How curious! Not a single positive flu, and yet lots of respiratory illnesses. Anyway, just saying. That's my observation in the emergency room. But the concept is very simple: take care of you, take care of your immune system, and love yourself. Give yourself love, and once you're okay, you can take care of anybody else.
The single most important thing is to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to mention while we've got this time, once upon a time, and for many decades, I've said every thought is a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, last week, I woke up one day not feeling energetic, which I usually do because I have 2 hours of exercise to do. So in order to get my exercise done, I just kept saying energy, energy, energy for 20 minutes, and I got the whole 2 hours done and felt great. Tomorrow, I am recording a new biogenics exercise on energy because I think every word is a prayer. If you say the word, you've thought it.
And chanting actually has amazing benefits, and
Oh, yes.
that's a topic for another conversation. But it's a wonderful addition to the biogenic series, which is already 68 plus various exercises. So now we're growing still.
It's going to be over 70 by tomorrow afternoon.
And those who, by the way, those who have purchased the biogenics, the program, that will once it becomes available, it becomes added to your toolbox. So it's a gift that keeps on coming, I think. And just speaking of some other gifts that we'd like to offer, I want to say this once again, because I mentioned it, in a rushed manner, perhaps. If I get a chance to say it during the radio, I will too. Summer 2021. Summer 2021. It's a code on the website, realholisticdoc.com, on everything on the website. Why is that important? Because we want to make it easier for everyone to become interested and to take care of their immune system, their health, their wellness. And there's a lot of good content there as well. And for as far as the clinic, the telephone number, by the way, is 351-5221. 417-351-5221. And the clinic is now offering up until the end of, so there is September and then October. So up until the end of October, because of the possibly anticipated increase in all sorts of illnesses, including viral, we are offering a 10% discount on the IVs.
You can purchase them in advance. Say you want to reserve your IVs, you can get 10% off if you do it by the end of October.
And then what I do is basically when I get myself on a schedule, I make sure that I'm on every week or every 2 weeks, depending on how it works, but preferably every week. And we're coming back in. Yeah. And moving on.
And now is your turn. Give us a call at 417-447-1777. 417-447-1777. Time to ask a question right now on the air.
Yep.
And meanwhile, we'll keep talking about the immune system and your vitamin C and ozone.
This is another piece of information, packet of information that our clients get. And this talks about when medicines have failed. Now, this brings up to the topic of conventional medical system, and it's already failed for most of the things chronic. Those of us who are in the system, we see it, we recognize it, but it's a question of making a decision which way you want to go.
Well, one of my most essential statements is all chronic drugs fail.
It's the concept of having a continuous, constant bleeding and putting band-aids to cover that up. What's the question? The question should be, what's the underlying root cause, and how do you stop the bleeding to begin with, and how do you heal the wound?
If you're not healed within 3 months, it's becoming chronic. The time has got to be holistic.
And the excuse on the age, because a lot of people give me the age excuse, every 7 years the body regenerates. So that's we should be able to get better.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you are on the air. Good afternoon.
Because a lot of people give me the age excuse.
Hello.
Hi.
Is this the Dr. Shealy show?
Yes, it is. What can we do for you?
Oh, I was calling to hear a while back. Well, I go over to Mama Jean's to get my alkaline water, and you said you had something you put in your water that would give you the same result. What was that?
Alkaline water. I have to tell you, alkaline water, I'm not against the concept, but the idea of alkalinity, the alkaline water is a lot less effective in creating alkaline environment than having a good, proper diet, exercise, and the body, which is...
And if you really are acid, everybody should check the pH of their saliva occasionally, maybe at least once a week. And if it's below 7.4, basically, 1 teaspoon of baking soda in a glass of water will take care of it for you.
And, as a concept, alkaline water sounds like a good idea, but there are so many more effective ways to do it. No, you can still incorporate it if you like, but please go ahead. Yeah.
Well, my thinking on it was better than drinking what comes out of the tap.
You're
correct.
Right. I agree.
100% correct, yes.
And I know what you mean about, eating the more alkalinic foods and all that kind of stuff, but that was just something, extra thing that I had added to my diet, and sometimes I get tired of lugging that 3 gallons of water home. You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am. And I agree with you. If you're doing all that, then that's fantastic. Great. Yeah.
So, I mean, with what you said there, with a teaspoon in a glass of water, I guess I'd have to do a little math to. And I mean, if you put that much
no, once a day, 1 teaspoon of baking soda.
That's all you have to do one day. But I mean, then
every day.
Yeah, but then, like I said, I don't really drink water that comes out of the tap. I live here in Springfield, so I mean that's the reason I go over there and get that with.
But then you can just add a teaspoon at home.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to drink more than 1 glass.
Well, but you don't have to drink but 1 glass in the morning. It'll take care of you all day.
And then go with the rest of
Regular
the water.
The rest of the time.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I got it.
Yep.
Thank you very much for being there.
Pleasure.
I was curious, too. Well, now that I've got you on there, I mean, I don't know, maybe you got lines backed up, but if I get the notion that I think I've got the COVID virus, I mean, I just come by your office and you're going to take care of me. Is that right? Or as I hear Dr. Sorin talk about working in the emergency room, I'm wondering where's that at?
I've had several contracts ever since the situation started. I've actually have one contract around St. Louis, but we do have to take another phone call. I'm happy to talk more about me at some point, but yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, doctors.
You're welcome.
Pleasure, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hello? Yep.
Hello? Gone? We'll call back. Okay. Good afternoon. And good afternoon. You're on the air. Hello?
Yes. Yeah. Dr. Shealy?
Yes.
Hang on a minute. I'll shut my radio off. There we go.
Thank you. Yeah, great. And we're ready, if you are.
Okay. Well, what I'm calling about, that my wife and I are not vaccinators.
Mm-hmm.
And we are doing the things that we have learned through time with you guys, especially taking the right supplements, mm-hmm. Doing MAG. We're not obese. Mm-hmm. We are taking D3,
yep.
And all the other supplements that we need to. Is that about the best we can do? I know you guys aren't vaccinators.
Well, again, if you feel that you're not getting enough, you could do what I do, which is get intravenous vitamin C every week or two at the most.
And that would be the
It's
best
simple
addition.
and safe and is extremely effective.
Otherwise, you're on the right track.
Well, that'd probably be impossible for us. My wife is, she's in a chair and we just don't go anywhere. We don't go around people. We're avoiding crowds, and we live on a farm, so we're just enjoying life out on the farm.
Oh, God bless you. God bless you. That's
And-
awesome. Yeah. Well,
and so I guess we're doing about as good as we can.
yeah.
And let me run this past you.
Mm-hmm.
I read an article, and this guy that wrote it was a former Pfizer employee in research. And he said they're lying to people about this thing. It's not a vaccine, it's a pathogen.
I agree. We totally agree. And under no circumstance would I be vaccinated. Thank you for calling.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Sorry. Timing wise. Yeah. Thank you. Take care. Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Is this the world-renowned Dr. Shealy and
Hello,
Dr.
Bob.
Sorin? Hey, I'll
Hi.
make it fairly quick. I'm curious about a couple of real quick things. Number one, prophylactically, if you wanted to set your body up besides all the nutritional things, what are you taking or would you suggest?
Okay. Did we lose?
We lost you, Bob.
That sounds like a really good question, but let's
Push
get.
the red button. There's another one. Nope. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bob. You can call back.
Please
And-
do. Sounds like a good question. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the time has come, the walrus said, to take care of yourself. And so by the end of October, if you sign up, you can sign up for every week or every other week for an intravenous vitamin C and ozone at the Shealy-Sorin Wellness Institute, 417-351-5221.
And the code is KICK 92.3 IV.
And good afternoon.
Hey, I'm back again. I don't know what happened between towers, I guess. Prophylactically, besides maximizing the immune system, are there things that you would suggest the public out here, including myself, that have got a few years on us, that we might be taking ounce prevention, pound to cure? That's the first question for the COVID-19 Delta. What would that be?
Well, let me answer your question, but let me answer it in a slightly different way. First of all, I'm not anything I'm going to say has nothing to do with that term that you just mentioned, and I'm not going to say it out loud just for certain reasons, because we want to continue staying on the air. But I'm going to address a general question on the viruses and the immune system, because that is the key to where you're asking. How do you enhance the immune system and its response to all sorts of pathogens, including
Can you
viral?
get rid of the noise in the background of your phone? It's awful.
I guess I've got a lot of road noise. I'll
Okay.
turn it off speaker. Hold on. Is that better?
Yes.
That's better. Okay, so I'm just gonna continue. The best way to optimize the entire situation, other than the basic lifestyle, again, let's go over this very importantly. Lifestyle, stress management, certain supplements, and weekly or bi-weekly intravenous treatments of vitamin infusions, vitamin C, Myers cocktails, and ozone. I do both because I work in a high-stress, high-risk environment in emergency room, and I've been fine otherwise. And if you get a chance, if you're in Springfield, give us a call. But if you're somewhere else that provides those services, look into that. Just make sure it's the right dose, right organization, and they take care of people really well. I hope that...
And do you have a water purifier that you sell, or you recommend? That's so important. This nasty city water is pitiful. Do you have a purifier that you all sell?
We don't sell it. You have
cleanse
to
our water with.
Berkey, Berkey filter. You can buy it on the internet.
Unfortunately, we don't sell, but it's a great one. Yeah.
That's what we use at the office.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have also, what about ozone purification, a bulb system that has UV and knocks out airborne viruses and negative ionization? Do you have those?
I love ozone.
At your office to sell?
I run it actually when we leave the office. We sterilize the entire office that way, utilizing ozone. You got it. That's it. That's it. Yes.
Good thoughts, Bob. Thanks.
God bless you all. We love you. Thank you for helping the millions of us out here.
Thank you.
Especially we boom
Yep.
And
God bless.
Good
God bless.
afternoon. You're on the air.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, this is Martha calling.
Yeah.
I have had a situation in my lungs, my upper bronchioles. I was diagnosed after CT scan with inflamed bronchioles, which has become chronic, inflamed lungs. I didn't have pneumonia. They just said inflammation, and even though I consulted a pulmonologist, they just don't seem to. They give you these stupid steroid inhalers and, you know, the thing to blow into, and they really don't have much more to say about it. And this situation has become chronic.
Okay, on Monday of this week, Vince Finelli and I talked for an hour about his curing himself with that kind of thing by using our PEMF device. It is the greatest treatment for chronic lung disease,
inflammation, all
sorts.
Using
the Gamma Pimp device. He is now.
I'm sorry. Would you say that name again, because I didn't quite catch it?
Gamma,
GAMMA, PEMF, Pimp, PEMF.
Gamma PEMF. Okay.
And you need to wear it for at least 2 to 4 hours a day, but it's battery powered, so you can walk around with it. And if you need any help, you can call the office, and we'll set an appointment to discuss it with you.
And we can also have the option of maybe a couple of treatments of intravenous variety that will decrease inflammation very rapidly, much more rapidly.
I wish I lived close to you. I would be over there like a shot.
Oh, God bless you. Yeah.
No pun intended.
I understand fully. Yeah. I got you. Appreciate it.
I also have budgetary concerns, but all right. So there's that device, and what did it do for that person?
What did it do for the person? Okay. You're talking about the Vincent.
Vincent Finelli. Yeah. We have a radio call-in show in Genesis from 9 to 11 every Monday morning.
And it actually. So, what was the percent improvement or improvement?
Well, it's 100%.
There you go. Yeah.
Even his pulmonologist is absolutely stunned.
Well, you got to think out of the box. Einstein definition of insanity, doing same things and expecting.
This is why holistic medicine is so important.
Yes.
Of course. I've come to a conclusion, and I've been involved in the medical system as a patient with other things. I was always healthy until I got medical insurance, until I got involved with them.
Yes.
And I've come to the conclusion that they're absolutely useless. And I'm very, very angry about this. I mean, they're useless. My GP, they're a lovely woman, totally useless.
Oh, God.
And so
I love you.
Yeah, I'm very clear about that.
Thank you.
Right on. You got it.
And of course, we all know why that is, and why they don't ever tell you or look for the root cause of any condition. And yet they have the audacity to flood people's bodies with these toxic poisonous drugs and invasive procedures. They're killing people all over America.
Exactly.
So I'm totally on board with you. I have been all my life, but I've never experienced it firsthand the way I have now. And now I'm really desperate for solutions with my lungs. So I'll look into this.
If you have trouble buying it right out, have a brief consult, a focused consult with us, and you can rent it at $200 a month and buy it that way instead of paying all at once.
If I could kiss you, I would.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Blessings.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
And good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah. My mother had diverticulitis, infection of the colon.
Diverticulitis. Yes.
Yeah. She just had it about 2 weeks ago. She's 78. And I just want to hear what you guys would recommend that she should do. And I'll listen to you off the air.
The two best things in the world are moderate exercise and probiotics. Okay. Adequate probiotics. And the probiotics can be G as in George, R8, the number 8, Dophilus. And you could take 3 of those a day. Or you could take plain Greek yogurt or kefir every day. And That plus lots of exercise is the greatest thing for diverticulitis.
I'm going to jump in with one other agent, which could be very helpful in the long term, usually 3 to 12 months, and that's Autoimmune X. And you can find it at lifesavingformulas.com. We don't sell it, but I did co-author a book on the benefits of the aloe vera derived products and all sorts of wonderful benefits of glycoproteins and glycocalyx, and it's just a wonderful thing and perhaps there's going to be a link that one of our support people will put up so you can find more information on that. That's the one thing I would add to Dr. Shealy's recommendation.
I see, and that's the probiotics. What was that kind again? It started with a G?
GR8, the number 8.
GR8 probiotics. Okay.
Dophilus. DOPHILLUS.
LLUS.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you bet. Yes.
Have a good one.
Yep.
So, folks, think about it. You are worth taking care of. And it's a lot less trouble to take care of yourself than it is to get well when you're not.
I'm going to say something if we have time to say this. Love. What does love mean? Self-love, taking care of yourself. It's not selfish. It's taking care of yourself, your body, your immune system, your everything. If you want to be able to take care of your loved ones, your others, professionally, personally, you got to be able to be okay. Love yourself and share the gift of love. I'm going to say one more thing here. Love is the antidote to fear. Fear is the biggest thing that ruins immune systems. As long as we're feeling in fear, anger, anxiety, depression, the immune system will be very difficult to control. And our society is positioned for all those things. So I was thinking, basically, I was having a really hard time over the last several weeks. And I just want to say, I came to a very definitive conclusion until further notice. The answer is love. It's the opposite of fear. And that's all there is to it. That's it.
And the way to detach from fear is to do autogenetic training.
That's it.
Train your brain, your mind, your body.
And by the way, when you're surrounded by love, by faith, by knowing that you are okay, God doesn't make junk, and the fact that you're working on your immune system and doing everything you can enjoy life in any environment, even the crazy ones.
We have a question on the internet.
Yes.
Is how should we store vitamins?
How should we what?
Store vitamins.
Well, if you're not air conditioned, I would keep them in the refrigerator. In hot weather.
Okay. And it says if I take 1,000 time-release vitamin C, what do I take it with?
That's not enough. First of all,
that's not enough. First of all, you need 2,000 a day, and you must take a good B complex, a minimum of 25 milligrams, B1, B2, B4, B6.
But you're going to do so much better, and I'm sure economically as well, if you do something that actually is about 2 times more effective by including combination of certain things, such as Youth Formula, which has vitamin C at 2 grams plus MSM. Now that increases the value, and also, the whole combination also raises DHEA, dehydroepiandrogenase. If you're going to do something, do the best you can.
Vitamin C without MSM does not raise DHEA, but that's why Youth Formula is so important.
In combination with essentials or a good B complex, yes. And let's continue, Thoughts, comments, anything else, or any phone calls? We still can take some phone calls.
I have to wear a mask all day at my work for over 8+ hours a day for over a year. And it says my eye is starting to jump. And I'm worried about getting an eye infection.
Well, the general...
Any recommendation on that?
Okay, I'm just going to make a statement. General concept behind masks, and if you go to American Frontline Doctors, AFLDS.org, and again, use the information for yourself. I'm not telling you what to believe or what not to believe, but just again, these are options. You can read all about the masks and all about what it does and doesn't do. And frankly speaking, unless there is a clear indication, unless I'm in a surgical procedure or I'm in a high-risk environment, or I'm required, it's if you can. It's literally a concept, and I'm not going to say any further than that because of, again, all the factors, it's basically keeping out mosquitoes through the chain-linked fence. And in addition, we're keeping ourselves out of health. But that's my brief statement on that. But you can look for yourself, and you can figure out your information at aflds.org or other information that's available out there.
And last question, because we're just about out of time. Do you recommend using a nebulizer? I have a lot of phlegm in my lungs, and I've increased my vitamins as you recommend, but it's still there.
If that doesn't work, the only thing I know then would be the gamma PEMF device. It is wonderful for every organ in the body, but especially for the lungs and the heart.
Absolutely. And if you live local in Springfield, welcome, come on down to, at least a bi-weekly, but preferably a weekly vitamin C, perhaps a combination of ozone, a package of or something of that nature. But if you need an immune boost, you need an immune boost. And if you haven't done vitamin D3, just a real quick thing that people should know about, 50,000 unit capsule, usually once a week or every 10 days, depending on the weight. We talked about that. But if you take 3 of those, or 150,000 units on day 1, day 2, and day 3, do that and then see what happens. And perhaps we can communicate further. Our clinic, if you have any questions, is 351-5221. We do telephone and Skype and all sorts of consultations. But that's the short of it. There is a benefit. I'll say this, just one more closing thought on that is when I was going through a little bit of the respiratory difficult time, or a lot of it, I should say, hydrogen peroxide, regular hydrogen peroxide. Yes, you put it in a it's actually a humidifier, and then you just breathe it. Now, it does, there's no harm. There's no harm other than mild irritation to some people, but it certainly clears up a lot of good stuff. So give that a go.
No other questions?
All right.
Well, the most important thing is take care of yourself. You are important to lots of people, including yourself, and follow our advice if you can. Avoid negative thinking. Remember, every word is a prayer.
And just want to finish up with whoever is interested in taking care of their health and they need a reason to start, I'll give you a good reason. 10% off. The code is summer 2021, the entire store. So now you have no excuse not to take care of your immune system. Well, that's
through September.
Yeah, through actually
October.
that code is for a week on the store. The other code for the IVs for those who are in Springfield, which is KICK, which is the name of the radio station, KICK 92.3 IV, is for 10% off IVs until the end of October.
And folks, have a good week.
Yep.
See you then.